Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. My name is Hannah. On this channel, I post a ton of anti-MLM content. I'll link a playlist right here and in the description below. This is my big anti-MLM playlist, and I think this is the 80th video on it. I add new videos every single week, so if any of that kind of content sounds interesting to you, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, consider liking this video. All those things really help to support my channel, and I appreciate you so much for doing that. What we're going to be reacting to today is an hour-long live stream. It's a collab video of sorts between Jessie Lee Ward, also known as Boss Lee, and Colleen, who is the face behind the pro MLM Instagram account No Shame Sales Game. I have featured both of them on my channel before. They're both pretty well-known figures in the world of multi-level marketing. They have massive followings, they are considered public figures, and therefore I'm not going to be blurring their faces. If you consume a lot of anti-MLM content, there is a very good chance you already know who these people are, and I am well aware that I am not the first person to be covering this particular live stream. I know that Isabella has covered it, I know that Chelsea has covered it, Julie, Joe, and Erin did like a live stream reacting to it. I think Deanna has plans to cover it if she hasn't already. I know that I am late to the game, please forgive me. But regardless, I still have a lot to say about this video, and I'm a firm believer that the more people out there that are talking about this and giving their own unique commentary on it, the better. Everybody has their own perspective on things, everybody picks up on different things when they're watching it and giving their commentary, and additionally, not all of our audiences overlap perfectly. So I feel like the more creators showing it, debunking it, talking about it, then the more people can see it, be exposed to it, and receive that information, which I think is great. I'm gonna link all the videos that I can find of this particular live stream from other creators down below if you want to go check those out as well. I'm sure you've already seen them at this point. I personally have not watched any other creators' reaction to this live stream yet because I didn't want any of my commentary to be impacted or skewed by what I heard other people saying, so I'm really excited to finally be sitting down and filming this so that I can go watch other people's videos on it. One thing that might be unique about this video, I don't know, I haven't watched other people's yet, is that as I was watching, it was just like a checklist of checking things off of the BITE model from Steve Hassan. If you're not familiar, this is the BITE model of authoritarian control. It's essentially a checklist for cults. And in this discussion, in this live stream, it was just one after another. It's like they were going down the list of the BITE model. And so I kind of had the idea for this video to just, as we're watching, I'm gonna pop up the different things from the BITE model on the screen. I might not always address them, but I am gonna just show them as they come up. So if you see little blue boxes kind of popping up on the screen, those are direct screenshots from the BITE model, and it's showing how what they are talking about is a cult tactic. I'll link the entire BITE model in the description if you want to check it out in full, but that's definitely going to be my perspective for this video, is to kind of be taking what they are saying and connecting it to cults. It's a very easy connection. It's a very blatant connection. I didn't have to do much work to do that, but I think it is really fascinating when you see those connections being made. This is the longest intro ever. I am so sorry. The last thing is that I am going to be doing my makeup as I watch this video. I do this very often when I have like a really long clip that I'm reacting to. Usually it's because I film multiple videos a day, and so I get ready in the first video and then I'm ready to go for the following videos. In this case, I'm hoping to film, edit, and upload this on the same day. This video is very infuriating and doing my makeup is calming. So in this case, it's a coping mechanism. So let's do some makeup, let's drink some coffee, and let's debunk some misinformation.
Hello.
Oh, Colleen, what is going on, my friend?
What up? What up?
How are you?
I'm so excited. How are you?
I'm really excited too. I think there's a lot of excited people actually about this interview. So I'm just gonna get my lighting a little better because it's a little dark in here. But
Sucks.
yeah, can you hear me? Okay, I can hear you fine. So
how you been?
oh, I'm so good. Business is exploding, like we talked about. So both of us, I think, our businesses are just like da 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 da.
Well, it's one of the things that like we'll jump right into it. People are look at all these people. It's one of those things that I think on a, people who are just starting in network marketing or they've been in there for a while, get messages all the time. People are being mean to me or they're saying mean things. And I had one person write a mean comment on my post. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so sweet that somebody wrote a mean comment on your post. So like, Jessie Lee, do you have people on the internet that don't like you?
What an epic first question. Okay, so Colleen wants to know if Jessie Lee has anyone on the internet who doesn't like her. I mean, it is shock and awe, shock and awe that I do in fact have quite the following of haters. And I gotta tell you, we can get deep into this.
I feel like I already have whiplash because Jessie Lee was like, I'm doing so great, business is booming. Which, first of all, I always find strange when people have to verbalize how great in life they're doing. In a lot of cases, this can be an indication that they're not doing so great. So the first thing out of their mouth has to be, I'm so happy, I'm so successful, life is amazing. It's a way to kind of put up this protective front to mitigate those internal feelings of like discontent. But anyway, I have whiplash because Jessie Lee was like, I'm doing so great. And then Colleen chimes in like she's gonna add something to that train of thought, but instead she's like, Jessie Lee, do you have haters? She just derails the conversation almost immediately. So it feels very clear to me right up front within the first minute and a half of this video that the purpose of them getting on a live together is maybe to like address the haters or like address the misconceptions or something. And I'm just already rolling my eyes over it.
But I will say, I have friends who will say stuff like haters are confused fans. I truly believe in that.
Truly.
Truly. And then I will also say that the more people who started liking me less and less and less, and the louder and louder and louder and louder and louder they got, the bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger my businesses grew. I actually posted my Google analytics that were sent to me by someone who runs SEO and keyword searches and whatever. He sent it to me last night. He's like, Jessie Lee, this is like very impressive. I'm like, well, I couldn't have done it alone.
No, talking is talking. And I say that all the time. Like the reason I like got started in doing what I do, like, is because I saw how loud like they can be. And I'm just like, we need more like loud people on our side, right? Like they're just so loud. There's not being, and so we're just like making waves. So yeah, okay, people don't like you.
Did you just hear her say making waves under her breath? That's Savannah Marie's tagline. Don't take that from her. And Colleen's already introducing this us versus them mentality, which she admits is part of the reason she started her pro MLM account to begin with. Her reasoning for starting a pro MLM page was to, quote, get more loud people on our side, which to me comes across like she's acknowledging that she feels some kind of division and some kind of pressure or intimidation from the loud people on the other side, which gave her the push to create her pro MLM page, which I will admit is wildly popular. The account No Shame Sales Game has over 100,000 followers, and in my opinion, that's because it's pretty much the only pro MLM account you can really find, and it seems like everybody who is in an MLM follows this page. Because when you're in an MLM and when you're in a commercial cult, it is drilled into you to only be consuming information that supports your viewpoint and supports your organization. It is discouraged for you to be consuming any kind of content that goes against your existing beliefs about the industry, and Colleen's Instagram page is kind of like the only resource out there where they can get constant affirmation and reassurance that MLMs are a good thing. So it's not surprising to me that her following is massive, because that's where people in MLMs go to have their beliefs confirmed. I've actually done a deep dive style video on Colleen's account before. I'll link that here and down below if you want to check that out. But in that video, I basically take collections of her posts and I show you how they perpetuate every major toxic trait of the multi-level marketing industry. Super fascinating in my opinion.
They don't like me. We were DMing.
Well, actually, hold on a second. Like, I'll actually answer it a different way too. I don't think it's that they don't like me, and I don't think it's that they don't like you. I think it's that they don't like themselves.
Yeah. That's very Dr. Phil of you to say. It's true.
Well, let's make a video about this. Just call me Dr. Jessie Lee. I was kidding. But in all seriousness, though, I don't blame them. If you failed at everything in your life, if you have tried and tried and tried again, and you think that you've done all the right things, and you're not seeing success, and you never had your breakthrough, and you don't understand the process of little simple habits compounding over time, and then it's so much easier to blame everything else instead of taking responsibility and accountability for your actions and for your results. Yeah, I would probably blame you.
This is a classic example of the toxic belief that anybody who doesn't agree with you is just a jealous hater. Because to them, it cannot be within the realm of possibility that somebody with an anti-MLM viewpoint is somebody who is well-educated and a critical thinker. What she's describing here is an information control cult tactic outlined by the Byte model. I'm sure I'll have a little blue box around here somewhere. And in the frame of mind that they are currently in, they cannot see it any other way. They have been conditioned and programmed so heavily that they truly believe in their souls labels that people who are anti-MLM are just jealous, they're just haters, they're just failures. And I feel like it's my responsibility as the creator of this video to remind you that that is not the case. It could not be further from the truth, and they're so detached from reality with this conversation right now. It is far easier for them to just say, oh, they're a jealous hater, than it would be for them to actually listen to the information and to have to accept and acknowledge that the work that anti-MLM creators are doing is slowly chipping away at their industry. Acknowledging that they're feeling threatened is way more painful and way more difficult for them to do than it is to just build that wall, us versus them, you're a hater, I'm successful. They're taking the easy way out with this classic hater argument because it is much more difficult to accept the truth.
Yeah, because it sucks to watch somebody who's doing well, right? Like, it sucks to be like sitting wherever you're sitting, and I'm sure they would say like, oh, I love my life, I'm in my favorite cubicle, like it's great, but it's hard and but I want to like sympathize with those people because I've been there. I've been on the other side watching people succeed when I wasn't, and I was like, fuck this person. Like, I hated watching their stuff. I hated all the, the happy stuff they were talking about. And then finally I was like, shit, like, if she can do it, then why don't I just stop hating for a second and just try it? And then maybe I could go on a free.
I mean, I can answer that too. It's another psychology thing. So again, Dr. Jessie Lee will come out for you, but people don't like change.
They don't.
People are very resistant to that. And so if you're constantly told that you're supposed to believe one thing, and you're constantly told that the honorable way of living is to struggle, and the honorable way of living is to go to work from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock at night. And by the way, hold on a second, because not everybody's an entrepreneur. Okay.
No.
I am not shaming jobs. I am not shaming anybody going to a job. And I actually like part-timers in network marketing more than I like full-timers in network marketing. We can get into that conversation too.
Hold up for a second. Jessie Lee is claiming that they are not hating on traditional jobs right now. And Colleen is like nodding her head in agreement. Yes, totally. Entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. But 30 seconds ago, Colleen made this nasty backhanded comment about people sitting in their favorite cubicle and faking a happy life. This is such a joke. I'm like already exhausted at the contradictions. They're trying to make the argument that people who don't like them are just jealous that they couldn't be as successful as them. And I feel like I need to take this opportunity to address that yes, Jessie Lee makes a lot of money from her MLM. She is probably what you would consider to be a success story of the MLM industry. She has made it to the top. She has recruited a ton of people. She has exploited a lot of people. And in turn, she has a lot of money. She has a lot of nice things. She is in the MLM called Prove It, and she's made it pretty darn close to the top of that compensation plan. But on the other side, Colleen wasn't doing so hot in Rodan and Fields, so she kind of sidestepped, and now she's into like this pro MLM content creation, and she's kind of like a self-proclaimed network marketing guru of sorts. She sells $365 memberships to her exclusive direct selling community to prey on women who feel like they are struggling in their network marketing business. And to be completely honest, I feel with 100% certainty that Jessie Lee is on that path too. I think that both of them in the future are not going to be affiliated with any multi-level marketing company. I think they're going to go their own route, and I think that they're going to start selling like courses and trainings and speaking at conferences and like being a motivational speaker kind of thing. I think in the future they're going to stop making their money from people in their downline, and instead they're going to widen their audience, and they're going to make money off of people from all network marketing companies who are feeling desperate to make their businesses work and who feel that buying their trainings and buying their courses or buying their memberships to their communities or whatever is the last resort. That's what's going to make them successful. I 100% think that that's where these two people are going, because even they know deep down that network marketing companies are not sustainable, and they're going to need to figure out a new way to make money here pretty soon.
But I will tell you, it baffles me. Like, nobody is saying anything about your cubicle in the sense that was funny though. Like, but if you're miserable doing that, and you can understand that supplementing an income could bring in an extra couple $100 a month, and you do not have to do this remotely full time, like, who are you for not, like, what are you saying about yourself by knocking those men or women's hustles? It just does not make any logical sense to me.
People who are anti-MLM are not knocking anybody's hustles. We're simply acknowledging that if your goal is to have a side hustle, is to have another stream of income, getting involved with an MLM is the least productive way to accomplish that goal. We're simply just saying, hey, if you're gonna join an MLM, don't expect to make any money, because less than 1% of people do. That's not knocking anybody. That's just providing information and providing resources resources for people to make an educated decision before they decide to jump into an MLM business opportunity that they think they're going to make money from. But these two are clearly bothered by that because it directly impacts the viability of their recruitment-based business opportunity. Because the more that anti-MLM people continue to educate, the less people will join their MLMs and the less successful they can be.
But I mean, I love people who have jobs. I love people who, you know, are in their career path of choice. What I don't understand is people who this wasn't for you. And you violently and viciously attack it for people that it is for. And you don't talk about the profession. You literally talk about the people.
Yeah, but then
that I don't have much tolerance for.
People, we're talking about the profession. And you're like, well, then why are you making fucking YouTube videos about me? Like, this is very weird. It's strange.
People make YouTube videos about you, Colleen, because you are a perfect example. Your words, your behaviors, your actions, your Instagram posts are the perfect prime examples of the manipulation and the misinformation that people like me are trying to educate on. So they use you in their videos to prove their points. Anti-MLM commentary style videos are extremely successful and extremely effective because we have evidence-based arguments supported by videos like this. My message would not be conveyed well if I just sat here and spewed a whole bunch of stuff at you without anything to back it up. That's like writing a research paper without citing any sources. A professor would take one look at that paper and they would disregard the whole thing because they're like, where did you get this information from? Where's the proof? Where's the evidence? And that's why commentary is so powerful, because you are taking specific examples, you are showing it, and then you systematically debunk it with numbers, sources, and facts. And that's something that these women could never in a million years be able to do. Could you imagine what that would look like if they took an anti-MLM video and tried to debunk it? Let's just say that there's a reason that that kind of video doesn't exist.
And that's what another person was responded. They were like, so can they just like set it straight? Like, are we predators or are we victims? Because it changes with the wind. Because it's like, oh, these people are predators, you know, preying on vulnerable women. And then in the next breath, it's like, oh my God, they're victims of brainwashing. And like, pick a side.
That's because it's possible to be a predator and a victim at the same time. Your vulnerabilities are preyed upon to join the scheme and to stay in the scheme, while you are simultaneously preying on other people's vulnerabilities to join the scheme. Being a predator and being a victim are not mutually exclusive.
I mean, that's a long conversation we can get into. Because I'll tell you some of you don't, I see a lot of people hitting follow, hopefully on both sides, right?
Yeah.
And some of you don't know my story then. I was in a basement when I started all of this. The story's never changed. And my best friend from when I was 5 years old is now in business with me for the first time ever. I've never recruited friends and family. This is like very new for me. I was like the victim though. Like I'd be the person you would say is the victim. I was in the basement. I was in a vulnerable position. My car didn't work and my lifestyle was terrible and I couldn't go out with friends. It was like as soon as I took control over that and I said, wait a minute, so it's just a sales model. All I have to do is sell. And then if I want to sell an opportunity, then I can do that too. And then I can choose if I want to coach and teach and train this, that, or the third. Okay, as soon as I became, you know, the 1% or even like the 5%, you know, I don't even think I was at the top when people started going, it went from like, well, she was a victim. Okay, she was absolutely a victim. And then she got so brainwashed by the whole entire thing, and she had so much success that now she is the predator.
Yes, that is quite literally exactly what we are saying. You were preyed upon, and now you prey upon other people. That is true. I don't know where the disconnect is. I don't know what part of that she's not understanding.
It's like wait a minute, hold on. Like you're not actually making sense. Because I chose to be successful in something, just like you can choose to be successful in whatever you want. And we should get into like determining what the word success even means. We can totally define that. But like, you can't say both. You can't tell me I was a victim 11 years ago, and then now I'm the predator because I've had a good experience due to my work. It doesn't make logical sense. But we're not really speaking to logical people, so there's that.
It makes perfect logical sense because in order for you to get to the top and to be successful, you must prey on other people. You must recruit others to get to the top of the compensation plan. In other words, you must turn into the predator to be successful. That's how these business models are designed. She almost has it, but I think that the disconnect here is coming from the fact that she's attributing her ability to be at the top to her own hard work when that's not really the case. If she were to recognize that her position within the compensation plan comes strictly from having a big team, and if she were to give credit where credit is due, she would probably be able to understand how someone can go from being the prey to being the predator.
So, damn it, you just said something. We can talk about this. What did you literally just say?
I don't know. A lot.
I don't know.
That's why I do the notebook thing, man, because I start rambling and then
literally that's what I need to do. I have my notebook over here, but I came to the window. But
maybe the success thing. I don't know.
It's the success thing. Okay, why don't we find success? Because that's another thing that we get a lot of shit for, is that they're saying, okay, well, you need to, like, everyone's saying, oh, you're going to be a millionaire. You're going to quit your job. You're going to drive the free car. You're going to go on vacations. But like, success doesn't look like that, because for most people, an extra $300 a month is life changing. That is successful if you are doing something that just moves the needle in your life a little bit, right? So even though you are Jessie Lee and you're super duper successful, the one, that doesn't mean that that's what success looks like for everybody. And if they're not you, then they're failing, right?
Yeah. Good Lord. Yeah, let's go into this. So success to me when I started was $300 a month, period, full stop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I did not, and to be totally honest, if I had been recruited by somebody who said to me, do you know you can make $1 million or millions of dollars a year doing this? I would have never signed up. Because I would have been like, scam alert, Ponzi scheme, like I would have been like, hell no, you freaking scammer, McScammerson. Like I would have never been interested. My interest level was I cannot pay my bills. I'm getting my rent increased by $300 a month. I have 1 month left to make an extra $300 a month. My job, I cannot get a $300 a month raise like this. It's not a thing. So I had to figure something out or I get evicted. This is the real story.
Yeah.
I've told it a million times. So I'm like, oh my God. Okay, so I just need $300. I literally just need to make $300. What can I do for $300? And I asked the person I'm renting the room from in the basement, I said, well, I don't know how to make $300 a month. And they said, I don't know, start one of those at-home businesses. And I said, like Avon? She's like, yeah, like Avon. I'm like, I am not selling Avon. Like, I'm 22, at the time, right? So I'm like, that's not happening. Success was $300. And I mean big success. That was life-changing, $300 a month.
Yes.
For me, it's like, how can you say it's not successful if, I'll say all kinds of weird scenarios. If a single mom has an extra $50 so she can go get what she wants from the grocery store or buy a pair of shoes she's had her eyes on, or go to Target and not feel bad about buying a candle for herself or whatever. That's success. Who's to say success is even monetary, right? Yep. Because there are so many people. Okay, so I'm like really big on TED Talks. I'm really big on personal development. I'm big on all this stuff, right? And I was listening to this TED Talk, I think it was just yesterday, and they're talking about how one of the most dangerous things to somebody's actual overall health, not just mental health, not just physical health, not just emotional health, overall welfare and quality of life and length of life is in direct correlation to the amount of happiness they have in relationships. In relationships. This is not MLM conversation. This is scientifically data-proven information, okay? One of the longest studies on age ever, the longest study on age ever to exist.
Yep.
You have just taken people away from each other for almost 2 entire years now, and you're telling me it's not success if somebody joins a opportunity, joins a business, and finds some of their best friends? Because what network marketing really does is it turns complete strangers into friends, which, by the way, is just like anything. Everyone was once a stranger before they were a friend. So don't get all huffy puffy on that either. Okay. They get huffy puffy on everything, but like, it turns strangers into friends and friends into family. And when I look at my friend circle now, it is not conditional based off of if they're in business with me or not. I've had plenty of people leave business and they are still absolutely family members to me, right? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But I would have never met them if I didn't have the relationships. And you know what else is successful? Turning yourself from somebody who's completely underdeveloped as a human being into, whoa, hold on a minute. Now I'm educated. Now I understand about NFTs. Now I understand about wealth management. Now I understand about personal development and speech. Now I understand about sales. Now I can take my sales information and go get a job at Burlington Coat Factory. I don't know where that just came from, right? And go sell whatever they coats, right? Like couches, whatever they sell, right? You can take these skills that you learn in this. That is success.
Yes.
Do you realize what we just witnessed, ladies and gentlemen? We just heard Jessie Lee go down this tangent about how she can't possibly understand how she was the prey and now she's the predator. How is she a predator? Followed immediately by 5 solid minutes of Jessie Lee explaining to us the types of people she preys on. In those 5 minutes, she just discussed how she preys on people's financial, social, and emotional vulnerabilities. She opened by giving this testimony about how her goal when joining her MLM was to make $300 a month, and how to some people that amount of money is life-changing, and how if you are also struggling to pay your bills just like she was, your situation can be changed by joining an MLM. That's called preying on somebody's financial vulnerabilities. Then she spirals into like this short discussion about single moms who don't have the money to treat themselves, and how joining an MLM can finally allow them to buy the things they want and to alleviate mom guilt. That's called preying on somebody's emotional vulnerabilities. And finally, she wraps it all up with a discussion about how people have felt socially isolated from the pandemic and how joining an MLM can give them a sense of community. That's called preying on people's social vulnerabilities. She says that she can't possibly understand how she preys on people, and then she goes down a 5-minute explanation detailing the different types of people that she preys on. From a psychology perspective, this is fascinating. She truly does not recognize the contradictions in what she's saying.
And you can deploy that into the world. So to me, it's like, for me, yeah, I am the anomaly. I am not the norm. And I say this on every single podcast I open. Do not listen to what I'm saying as an income claim. Do not think that I am normal. Do not think that you're going to join and you're going to get rich quick. I will outwork every single person in the space, and not even just network marketing, in the business world, right? That's just my DNA.
It's not about outworking people. It's about out-recruiting people.
Yeah.
So what success is for me is different than you.
Yeah.
But it's different than all the people watching this as well.
Correct. And so I think that that's like a conversation that network marketers also need to start having, is like make it realistic. And like, I hate the phrase realistic, because anything that I've ever done is not realistic. Anyone has told me to do anything, like, that's never going to happen. That's not how it's going to be. Like, I need you to set more realistic goals. But like, we can't be casting vision for people and like highlighting these multimillionaires and all these things, thinking that like that's the only version of success. We need to have a wider, more, like a deeper understanding of what success looks like in this business. And it's not just, oh, I came in and I made millions of dollars. Same. I wanted to make $500 a month as a stay-at-home mom. That wasn't like my first paycheck success. Like, if one day I could make $500 a month, I would have been mind blown. And just, so I think that conversation about success needs to be had by everyone.
I think that's one of the most important conversations, because I think you make men and women feel like crap when they're in the journey. And like, the reason I work the way I work is because it's who I am in my DNA, like I said. But second of all, I like showing people what's actually possible.
Yeah.
So if I'm the pace setter for the whole profession, by all means, I just want to show you what you can do. It doesn't mean you have to do it. I'm trying to show you what's possible. But to what you just said is so important. So I want to back it up to that.
The self-righteousness and the narcissism is off the charts. And like I keep saying, it's actually very fascinating to observe. Colleen just got done saying, we need to show people that being a millionaire, making a ton of money is not the only version of success. And Jessie Lee goes, yeah, okay, but I am really successful. So my role here is to show people what's possible. I'm just setting the pace. Jessie Lee will stop at nothing to talk about herself and to boast her success, even if that means directly contradicting what Colleen just said.
Too many people, and I'm talking about leaders now, because I know there's leaders watching this right now that are probably like hiding in the shadows a little bit. It's cool, we see you, it's all good, boo. Well, we don't see you, but we know you're there sitting in the wheat fields, okay? Like hiding behind the bushes. It's cool.
You want to listen, but not.
Yeah. If I could give you any directive, please start sharing the stories of very much so real people. And very much like your highlight from the other, I was like, oh my God, girl, you gotta save this. Like, it is so important that people hear real stories. And it is so important people understand that supplemental income in not even just 2022, but we're in 2022 is so important. And I post stuff intentionally. Like for me, I go to a gas station. I don't care what the price is. Okay. I just don't. It's just a stage of life that I'm in, right? I drive supercars. You shouldn't be driving a supercar if you're looking at the pennies on the whatever. That just is not logical, okay? So, but I sit there and I still post in my stories the gratitude for being able to fill it up, regardless of what the price was on it. Yep. And the reason I do that is because when I started this is like people, the girls who get it will get it. The girls who don't. When I started, I was driving a Ford Focus ZX3, like 2001. And it was like the ugliest color. It was a stick shift. It was manual because it's cheaper when it's manual because a lot of Americans can't drive manual, right? So, and I'm from Maryland. And in Maryland, we have the Appalachian Mountains. I don't know if your face is telling me you didn't know I'm from Maryland originally. So, yes. Yeah. So, I'm from Maryland. We're from the mountains, Maryland. And I would throw the car in neutral and coast down the hills to save gas money. And my brother was always like, you're going to blow out the transmission on that thing. I said, I don't care if I can roll up and get like an extra 10 miles on this tank of gas. I never got to fill up a tank of gas. I never got to do that. Yeah. Never. So when I go and I do fill up a car now, I do take the photo because my gratitude, I still go to that place of, damn, I remember exactly what it's like to lie to my friends and say, no, I can't go out. No, we're not going. I'm just really tired. I wasn't tired. I was broke. Mm-hmm. Right. And I remember what it was like you don't know if your car is going to turn over and start or not. I remember what it was like to have to get really creative in carpooling to get to meetings in Maryland, which is not a big state, but because I didn't have money, I had like $5 to contribute to a gas pool. Mm-hmm. Like, that's where it started. So if you look at the whole picture of what success is, yeah, you're right. It started out as $300 a month. And then when I was like, oh, I can make $300 a month. Hold on a minute. Okay. It went, can I make 5? And then I made 500. And then I went, can I make 1,000? Wait a minute. And then it was never, I never joined this for free cars. I never joined this for free trips. I never joined this for private jets. I never joined this thinking I could make $1 million or more a year. I never joined this for anything. I joined this because I was broke.
Okay, but if the point of this conversation right now is to convey the message that people should not be joining an MLM for all of these fancy things, why is that the lifestyle that you're promoting publicly? What's with all of these posts with nice cars and private planes and designer clothes and vacations? Why are you promoting that lifestyle if not to entice people into believing that they can have it too if they join your MLM? And I also feel like it's worth adding in here that she's like, I post my gratitude for being able to pay for my gas. And I don't feel like expressing gratitude is a bad thing. Actually, I love the practice of acknowledging what you have and being grateful for it. Just the other day, AJ and I were having this conversation about how fortunate we feel to sit down at the beginning of the week and be like, what do we want to have for dinner this week? We figure out what we're craving, we make a grocery list, we go to the grocery store and we buy it and we don't look at the prices. We are extremely fortunate to be able to do that. And the purpose of us having that conversation conversation was to express our gratitude towards our situation. And there's all sorts of research done about how expressing gratitude towards the things you already have can make you a happier person and can reinforce a happier life. Recognizing what you have and being grateful for it, I love it. I am all for the concept of gratitude. What I'm not in support of is taking that feeling of gratitude and using it to entice and manipulate other people into joining a scam. That's what crosses the line. You can go to the gas station, you cannot look at the prices, you cannot care about the prices, and you can feel grateful about your ability to do that. But only from people in MLMs will you see this switch in their head that turns from, I'm feeling grateful in this moment, to I'm gonna use this as a pitch. Only from people in MLMs do you see it extend beyond just gratitude. It gets into this nasty space of like an income claim, a lifestyle claim. Look at me, I drive luxury cars and I don't care about gas prices because I am so successful in my MLM, and here's why you need to join it. And this anecdote about going to the gas station and gas prices is a classic example of how people in MLMs will post things that are very intentional and very calculated, and how everything they post, everything they talk about, the motivation behind everything they do is money. It's recruitment, it's selling something, it's self-serving, no matter how you dice it.
Yeah. And I felt like I had no other option. There was no Uber Eats when I couldn't Uber Eaten anyway because my car couldn't make it to your house. But like, there was no Uber Eats, there was no Grubhub, there was no Uber, no DoorDash, the gig economy didn't exist when I started in this.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to harp on that conversation a little bit because it drives me nuts for you to say 1% of people are successful. What?
It doesn't yeah. Anyway, and it's true. Like so many. I mean, if you talk, I'll backtrack on that. But I think that so many people they think it has to be this huge thing, and they feel like, oh, I have to be a Jesse Lee, or I have to be somebody who's at the top 1%, or I have to be all this stuff, and like. You don't. You got to talk to a couple people. And like when you're talking about Uber Eats, or you're talking about getting a gig, a part-time job at Starbucks, or a part-time babysitting job, all of these things my friends do, but they're not willing to pick up their phone and utilize something that they're already doing. Like, to me, that's a huge missed opportunity. Like, people are going farther away from where they want to be, like home with their family, whatever, to make $10 an hour, which nobody's knocking that, but like, you have an opportunity literally in the palm of your hand, and people are like, you're a scam artist. Like, what?
The argument isn't necessarily that only 1% of people in an MLM are successful. The argument more so is that 99% of people who join won't make as much money back as they have invested. So when you think of it that way, why would somebody who is looking for an additional stream of income choose an MLM over things like DoorDash, like babysitting, like working a part-time job? Who in their right mind wants to spend their time doing something as their side hustle if there is a 99% chance that they won't make any money doing it? If you are in true need of an extra stream of income, it would be a much wiser decision for you to pick up a part-time gig somewhere else where you are guaranteed to be paid for the hours that you spend doing that job, rather than joining an MLM where there's a 99% chance you won't make anything at all. Colleen's like, I just can't possibly understand how my friends are out here babysitting and working part-time jobs. Colleen, it's because they don't have time to be wasting on something that they are not guaranteed to make any money from.
Yeah. And I think that hurts people, by the way. So, I mean, the whole conversation hurts people. This entire it's not even just, this is going to be a deeper conversation for a second, but it's not even just the anti-MLM movement right now. It's this anti-movement period that I don't understand. This whole let's cancel people because I don't agree with 100% of what they do, I don't understand. I've never been somebody who's like, oh, you know what? I don't like what Colleen does. So I'm going to go ahead and go on all her stuff. I'm going to report her. I'm going to have all my friends report her. I'm going to comment about, like, you guys, let me give you an example. So when people try to tell you that, no, we just have a problem with the profession. We're not attacking people. No, we're not a bully for calling you out. Colleen, like, they literally called Colleen a Holocaust haircut the other day. Like, that's not bullying.
No.
They throw on like wigs to make fun of colored extensions in my hair and say I look like a man. I'm manic. I'm bipolar. She's absolutely psychotic. She's mentally unstable. You're not talking about a profession. You're trying to get people triggered so that they report people. And so if you can sit on that throne and feel high and mighty about your cancel culture and your groupthink, good for you. Good for you. But I could never be that person. And so I don't even get angry about any of this because the level of compassion I have for people who are that venomous and they think they're saving the world in anything, whether it's anti-MLM or it's anti
whatever,
Joe Rogan, or it's anti anything. I'm like, who do you think you're saving? Because you're saving nobody.
Nobody.
You're literally saving nobody.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't totally disagree with everything that they just said. I do agree that personal attacks, nasty comments, nasty DMs, mocking people, none of that is productive. And all it does is build a divide even deeper. However, I do not agree that the anti-MLM movement falls into the category of cancel culture. Not at all, because it's not about canceling or ostracizing individual people. It's about educating through examples. As I previously mentioned, the most effective way to educate on this topic is to take examples like this video, to show it, and then to have a conversation about it. The purpose of this video that you're watching right now is not to cancel Boss Lee. It's not to cancel No Shame Sales Game. It's to take their words and actions, it's to put them on display, and to show you how those things are problematic. It could be any two people having this exact same conversation, and my commentary would be the same. I also do not agree with what she said about how anti-MLM doesn't save people, because it does. I get told all the time that it does. And not to have this weird like soapbox savior complex thing, but people tell me on nearly a daily basis through comments, through DMs, through emails, that the information that I am putting out there saved them time and money and prevented them from joining an MLM scheme. Some people might be surprised to hear that my main goal is not to get people out of their MLMs. It's not to change the minds of Boss Lee or Colleen. Sure, it's great if that does happen. It's great if people do leave their MLMs, but I recognize that the cult tactics and the brainwashing are so strong that it is not gonna matter what I have to say if they're not ready to hear it, and my energy is wasted on that. And that's why I don't condone messaging people in MLMs. I do not condone going to their posts and leaving nasty comments, making personal attacks. I don't condone telling people that you're in a pyramid scheme or you're a scammer, because that's not productive. All that does is push them farther away from people they perceive to be as haters, and it pushes them farther into their MLM. So on that front, I don't disagree with Jessie Lee. I don't think it's necessary or appropriate to be like poking the bear or egging people on to get a reaction out of them. Those kinds of actions are counterproductive in my opinion. But anti-MLM content does educate people, it does help people, it does save people. And I can completely understand how they're upset about that, because that directly impacts them and their ability to recruit people.
And I just think it's so toxic. And I said this, and I'm telling you, I'm calling it publicly now, because we've got 500 here, I've got hundreds here. The podcast, God knows, that's huge. And then 50 over here. I'll tell you right now, I called something out the other day, and I know what's going to change. I made a point, and I know you saw it because you commented to me about this. You are horrifically anti-women in this movement in particular.
Horrifically.
Like, the level of women hating women in the anti-MLM movement is stunning to me. And if you would like to say that I'm wrong, I would like to respectfully ask you, where are the videos about the men? Because if you want to talk about the network marketing, now there will be men videos. I'm calling it right now. They're going to start making anti-men videos in MLM just to be like, no, see, I can talk about him too. It's too late. I just called you out on your BS, you BSers. Right. Okay, but they'll come out now though. Like, they'll leave that little soundbite out of this. That'll get edited out. But it's okay. We got the recording. I know it's the truth, but here's the real truth. Network marketing is dramatically female-centric. I believe it's 76% women, if my statistics are correct. Mostly women. Now, women are natural sellers. 80% of purchases made in a household are decided upon by women. Women shop, women sell, women buy. It is very natural because we are talkers. This is all the way the female brain works compared to the male brain. Okay? If you can look up science studies, all right? It's dangerous when you offend a smart woman, right? So anyway, all right. So 76% of women. If you look at the businesses where men are making a lot of money, because it is true, at the top, there are a lot of men. Mm-hmm. A lot, okay? I'm on every single stage, every single time, all of them, surrounded by men with these gigantic checks. You look at the Network Marketing Hall of Fame, the $1 million a year earners, it's man, woman, man, woman, man, tons of men. Mm-hmm. Men, I will tell you, are the ones who solely recruit. Men. Yup. Men are the ones, it's their nature to be very, very boom, instant driven, action driven, get the result, be done.
There's a lot going on here. It's a very heavy topic. I promise we're going to dig into this whole anti-woman thing in a second, but I had to pause it right here because she just claimed that men make the most money in MLMs because they recruit the most. She just admitted that it's all about recruiting if you want to be at the top of an MLM company, which is quite literally the entire reason that the anti-MLM movement exists. And that's why people have a problem with MLMs, and that's why people are speaking out on it. But okay, I'm going to let her finish her point here.
Okay? They're recruiting however many legs they need, whether that's 2 or 3, generally speaking. They'll get 2 recruits, 3 recruits. They'll stack whatever they need to stack. And the women are the ones building ethically under them with customers, with team members, running calls, nurturing, running incentive contests, doing all of the nurturing work. And you damn right, it's a man. So I will tell you, I very intentionally joined only a woman when I chose my upline for this company. Absolutely only joined a woman. Yeah. Okay? And for the record, because people go, oh, you can never out earn an upline. Yeah, you can. I dramatically out earn an absolute living legend in network marketing. So thank you. Take a seat. I'm just trying to debunk all their little stupid rumors, right? So I'm telling you that because if you want to attack people and you want to attack the model, do not attack the housewife who wants to make $100 a month and save $100 a month for a year and buy herself a Neverfull bag because she's never had a Louis Vuitton. Do not attack the student who is drowning in debt because for whatever reason, our government does not get rid of student loans. Okay. We do not forgive student loan debt. It's written into our laws. Okay. Who wants to pay off their student loans? How dare you? How dare you? Disgusting. And why don't you actually ask them their customer numbers? Because it's amazing. Oh, well, they order their product underneath of a customer account. Okay, so that's one customer. That's one customer. Okay, so what about the other thousands and thousands or hundreds and hundreds or dozens and dozens of customers they have? If that's one customer that woman has to, yes, get another source of income from her business, and now you're just ignoring the hundreds of other customers? Because that doesn't make sense to me. And if you're worried about a sustainable business model, also doesn't make sense to me. Because I was terminated, very open about this. I was terminated wrongfully from my first ever network marketing company. Okay? I sued that company for anybody who's wondering what happened. I won. I got paid. Okay? I got paid in arbitration. Right? That's just the fact. It's all, I think that's public knowledge I got paid. So I think I'm allowed to say that now. If I didn't, whoops. Sorry. Whatever. Okay? So I got terminated, sued them, got paid. Mm-hmm. That business, because I built it with customers, relationships, real people, that business is still thriving even though I'm not there. Yep. Because I build real businesses. And so when I look at the customer ratio compared to the recruiting ratio in my business and a lot of women's businesses, I know you're in a business that also retails incredible products as well. There's way more customers. And women are not natural recruiters. They are natural gatherers. Mm-hmm. So we have huge customer pods because we are natural sharers.
All right, let's tackle this. Are you ready? To understand why MLMs are bad for women, you need to acknowledge the fact that most people who join will lose money. They will spend more of their own money on sign-up fees, on inventory, on website fees, on annual fees, on products for themselves than they will ever make back on commission or bonuses. These two women refuse to acknowledge that fact, and that's why it's so difficult for them to understand why MLMs are bad for women. Okay, so we know that most people who join will lose money. And according to Jessie Lee, apparently 76% of people in MLMs are women. I don't know if that is an accurate number, but yes, it is true that the majority of people in this industry are women. I don't know if it's 76%, I don't know if it's 82%, I don't know if it's 99%, but the majority are women. Most people in MLMs lose money. Most people in MLMs are women. Therefore, women lose money in MLMs, and that's not a good thing for women, is it? MLMs are really good at pretending to be pro-women because they present themselves as an opportunity for a woman to create her own success, create her own wealth, create her own freedom. They present themselves as a way for a woman to be empowered in their work and to provide for themselves and their families. And that's wonderful. Of course we want that. Who wouldn't support that? But that's just what MLMs claim to do. That's not what they actually do, according to research done on the industry. These companies bait people in on the misconception that a woman has the power to create her own success and that she can achieve whatever she wants out of this opportunity if she just works hard enough. In other words, the business opportunity is presented as something that is morally fair. However, once you understand the business model, you realize that it is impossible for it to be fair. Fair, in my opinion, would be to be compensated for the work that you do and not to work for free. In an MLM, you can work 40 hours a week for an entire year, and if you still can't find people to buy the product that you're selling or find people to join your team, you don't make a single dime. How is that fair? MLMs are bad for women because they trick women into believing that they can have it all, when in reality only a teeny tiny top percentage of people get to have it all at the expense of everyone else. That's not fair, that's not ethical, that's not good for women. There was an episode of Roberta Blevins' podcast called Life After MLM where she compiled income disclosure statements from a whole bunch of companies and she broke down the numbers into an hourly rate that women are paid in their MLMs, and the result from that calculation that has always stuck with me is that most women in MLMs are paid less than prison wages. Women in MLMs are paid less than people in prison. I would love to see these two explain how that's good for women. In fact, let's take a look at Jessie Lee's income disclosure statement from her company, Prove It. This says that in 2020, the median annual income for everyone in the company was $0. As we know, looking at the median annual income is a lot more accurate than the average annual income because it excludes the outliers and it shows us a more accurate representation of what most people are making. In Jessie Lee's company, most people make $0. If we look at the bottom rank of the company, 62.5% of people fall in this category. That is 36,000 people sit at the bottom, and they made an average of $11.57 in an entire year. They don't give us the median annual income here, but I'm assuming it's $0. Then if we look at the top rank, only 0.01% or 5 people in the entire company made an average of over $1 million in a year. I'll link this entire income disclosure below, but if we calculate the people from all of the ranks that are making a full-time income, it accounts for less than 1% of people in the company that make a livable income from being in Prove It. How crazy is it that she can sit there and try and claim that her business opportunity is what's good for women? And my last point here is that she made some comment about why are women always the one featured in anti-MLM videos? Why do they never cover the men? But then she answered her own question immediately afterwards. The answer is because most people in MLMs are women. And at least according to her, the women seem to have more of this personable, nurturing, relatable approach to their recruitment style. There's a heavier emphasis on being open and vulnerable. And the women in the MLMs are far more likely to create mass amounts of content on the internet promoting their business opportunity. They are much more likely to do that than men are. And women are far more likely to create a personal brand surrounding themselves. They're a stay-at-home mom. They're a work-from-home mom. They're a boss babe. They're a self-made woman. And they create content. They create entire social media presences centered around this one identity. Men don't do that on the same scale that women do. There is an overwhelming amount of content on social media from MLM women. And honestly, finding a man in an MLM with the same kind of social media presence is like finding a needle in a haystack. You can't find it. I have included men in my videos before. They do exist, just not on the same scale that videos from women do. And it's not that I'm choosing to only focus on women and to exclude the men because I just hate women so much. It's just that women make up the majority of the industry, as she acknowledged, and women make up the majority of the content, as she acknowledged. It's strictly a ratio thing. It's not a we hate women more than men thing.
And I want you to talk about this because it's one of my favorite posts you ever made. And I turned it into a reel. You were talking about, you think it's odd that people will share their whatever, and that's fine. You know which one I'm talking about. So why don't you just take over on this one? Because it's like my favorite.
They'll share, oh no, which one was it? They'll share the like Amazon link, but not their, or they think it's, I can't
You were like, you'll share your favorite Peloton instructor loudly and you won't get paid.
Oh,
and you'll share your you'll share your Amazon links and whatever, and you guys celebrate that. Drop the link.
Send me the link. Where'd you get that? Can you send me the link? It's literally the same thing. And like people, yeah, you'll share your Wordle, you'll share your Starbucks, you'll talk about Bridgerton, you'll share your Amazon link. I say it all the time because it's whatever I'm seeing all over my Instagram. It's like, really, people are like getting mad about what we do, but it's like we've publicly aligned with a company, a brand, whatever, and people, they literally all do it all day, every day, and I just cannot comprehend like what is wrong with selling and getting a kickback from selling. If
that's all it is.
If anyone, any MLM hater, any not like anybody, if you liked a product, I'm guarantee you've recommended it to somebody else, and if this company that you love so much says, hey, I'll give you a 10, 15, 20% or kickback off of everything you sell with this link, nobody would say no, because it would be stupid to say no. Everyone wants and could use extra money. Everyone does it. And some of us are smart enough to get paid for it.
Who's going to tell her that joining an MLM and signing an agreement with that company to only promote that company's products and nothing else is a perfect way to limit your influencing potential? Like, if your goal is to be an influencer and to share links and share products and make a kickback and some commission, joining an MLM is the worst thing you could do, because it is written into every MLM company's policies and procedures that if you join their company, you cannot promote competing products. You are limiting yourself by joining an MLM. For as long as these women are in their companies, Jessie Lee can't promote any other health and wellness products, Colleen cannot promote any other beauty products, because they are in a contractual agreement with their companies that say you can only promote and sell our stuff. And you know what's even worse is that nobody wants the crap they're selling. Why on earth would you think that it's a good idea to be a rep for a company with a reputation of being a scam and limit yourself to promoting only that company's products? That makes it so difficult on yourself, and this logic is so perplexing. There's literally something called the Amazon affiliate program. You can apply for it. And if you are accepted, you can send somebody a link to anything on Amazon and you can get a kickback from it. Just imagine thinking that selling Rodan and Fields is a better opportunity for you than being able to earn a commission on anything on the Amazon website. Delusional.
That's the mic drop right there. All of us do it. Some of us are smart enough to get paid for it.
And like with you, when you going on about what you were just talking about, I said a while ago, like, if network marketing was a male dominated industry, like, the critics wouldn't be anywhere. But you have the men are at the top, so you're not seeing the men. You're seeing the women do all the work and relationship building. They're like shitting on it. If it was all men doing it, you wouldn't see the same type of criticism. And it's so anti-women. It's sick.
She recognizes that the majority of people in MLMs are women who are working really hard and not making that much money, but somehow she just can't understand how MLMs are bad for women.
Yeah, that's why I chose network marketing, and I've been talking about this a lot lately because it's stunning to me. It's stunning to me. I just don't understand. I chose network marketing because you could not tell me how much I should earn. I get paid. They're not going to like this. Guys, you get paid for the exact amount of work you do. Period. Whether you like that truth or not,
yup,
you get paid for the exact amount of work you do.
Oh, really? What's the salary that your MLM offers? What's the hourly rate? What will Prove It pay me for 1 hour of work? This live stream is 1 hour long and you are working your butt off to defend and promote your MLM company. How much is Prove It paying you for this hour of your time? Oh, right. That's not how this works because Prove It doesn't guarantee anybody anything, no matter how much time they spend promoting their products. Women are basically used for free advertising in these companies if you really think about it. But MLMs are so good for women.
But then it's like, oh my God, but my Aunt Susan worked really hard and she talked to all these people for 2 weeks and she didn't make any money.
This is a relationship business, which goes back to why women are so good at it. Okay? And I will tell you, I never signed up for Get Rich Quick.
Ever.
I suck at sales. I suck at recruiting. I suck at leadership. I suck at all this stuff. But I feel like I've joined a personal development program with a compensation plan attached. And if I can become a better person, I will get paid for it.
Well, that might be the cultiest thing I've ever heard.
And what do you know? I go to Tony Robbins events. My whole entire world gets flipped upside down in 3 hours. I'm like, oh my God, right? I break through boards, which I had no idea how many limiting beliefs I had in my life, which was why I couldn't sell, which was why I couldn't recruit, which is why I couldn't lead, because I had so much childhood trauma around any of this stuff, all of this stuff, that I felt like I couldn't function.
Yeah.
And I literally broke through a board. And next thing you know, I'm like, whoa, I feel like I'm a little bit free. You don't get that in real life. You don't get that in a job.
No.
Right? I go to high level leadership training that my company paid for because I was a board director, right? A sloppy board director. This is like 8 years ago. I mean, I was a hot mess express, like, oh my God. And I started learning about different leadership types, and I learned about personality types, and I learned how to talk to people, and I learned how to communicate, and I learned about charisma, and I learned how to talk to strangers, and I learned about habits, and I learned about all of this stuff. And then next thing you know, I applied it. Yep. So you know what, your Aunt Susan or whoever it was you said, yeah, you damn right. She might have been throwing up on people for 2 straight weeks, barfing all over them with cold messages that somebody trained them on. I don't know who, I don't know why. Unsubscribe to that person, leave that team, good God. But anyway, I digress. Like, yeah, she might be doing a whole bunch of mess. Mm-hmm. But you have to understand, you have to elevate both sides of who you are. You can't just take a ton of action and not develop. And this side has to catch up with this side. You're only going to be able to build to the level in which you are developed. And every single version of who you are is going to require a totally different level of education. It's going to require a totally different level of personal development.
Something about the language that she's using here is kind of troubling to me. It's almost like she has this holier than thou attitude where she clearly thinks that she's like the most woke and the most self-actualized person on the planet. Like, because she's done so much personal development, she's now invincible. I guess that's what brainwashing does to a person.
And so people get mad that I join masterminds, and people get mad that I spend money on events. And people get mad that I'm constantly, learning and growing and reading and teaching. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I do all of that because that's the only way I can elevate my income. It's the only way I can coach through different situations. The only way is if I go to an event and I learn leadership skills that have nothing to do with where I currently am, but I go, whoa, that's a skill set that's way out here. And then I'm able to say, hold on, let me like beep, back it all the way up. So when I am there and that situation does happen, I go, Colleen, I got you. I have the solution to this. Hold on a second. Like, I know exactly what to say because I learned, because I spent the money on that course, because I grew. No, and hold on. Nobody gets mad when you join a job, which is what you do. You join a job. You accept the job.
You join.
And in every single job I have ever been part of, there is some kind of income requirement to go to work the first day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? Income requirements to go to work the first day? Like you had to pay your employer money to go to work? I'm very confused. What is she talking about?
Like, I'll take it all the way back to when I'm 13 years old and I got my first job. My first job was an ice cream shop. You cannot work without non-slip shoes. Non-slip shoes back then, I don't know if they're cheap right now, but back then they were like $80. And I was like, what the the internet was like just coming of age because, I'm freaking aging myself now, okay? But I'm like trying to Google to find some like discount shoes, these non-slip shoes. Y'all comment below. What are those shoes called? You know what I'm talking about, those non-slip shoes. Anyone in the restaurant business knows exactly what I'm talking about. Also, curious where everybody is watching from. I want to see where our viewers are. So if you want to comment that below, I'd be curious to see. But guys, those are so expensive. And luckily that was like my only thing that I had to pay for.
Yeah.
Right. But then I got a job waiting tables, and I was like, oh, I have these special shoes that I can, you know, just take over to this restaurant. I worked at a pizza shop next.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had to buy the apron, and I had to buy the little book to put the stuff in. And then I had to do the training where you're following people around for $3 an hour. By the way, you were getting paid the $3.13 an hour or whatever. Okay, so don't talk to me about livable wages and non-livable wages. I'm literally not here for it, okay?
It is true that some employers do require their employees to have non-slip shoes, and the employer does not have to pay for them. She also gave the example of like an apron and a little booklet, and I suppose that depending on your workplace, there could be small upfront costs like that. I'm not denying that, and honestly, I am of the belief that your employer, if they are going to require something of you for that job, the employer should cover it. And I do think it's kind of messed up that an employee would have to spend their own money on non-slip shoes to be able to work at this place. I had to do it too. I worked in a restaurant too. But I guess the main point that I want to make in rebuttal to what she's saying is that the issues, the downfalls of other industries and of other situations does not negate the downfalls and the issues of the MLM industry. Just because a restaurant employee has to spend $80 on non-slip shoes does not mean that it's okay for Prove It to charge people between $500 and $1,000 to join their business opportunity. Having an issue with MLMs does not mean that we automatically just think that every other profession or every other job setting is perfect. That's not the argument. That's not what we're saying. But if you want to take this even a step further and think about it a slightly different way, something like non-slip shoes, an employee might have to spend $80 on it or whatever. My non-slip shoes were $31. But let's say you spend $80 on your non-slip shoes. Those are yours. You own them. You never have to pay for them again. It is a small one-time cost to ensure your safety in the workplace. Now, in MLMs, there are recurring fees. There are recurring things, purchase requirements, quotas, annual fees, website fees that you have to fulfill just to stay active. MLMs have all these really sneaky loophole workaround ways to make you continually spend your own money just to be a part of that MLM, just to maintain the status of active in order for you to be eligible to receive your commissions. Could you imagine if a restaurant required you to spend $100 on food every month just for you to be eligible to get your paycheck? Could you imagine if a restaurant had like sales requirements? Like if you don't serve this much food in this month, you're not going to get paid. Could you imagine if the restaurant made you pay them yearly to continue working for them? None of those things make sense in the context of a real job, but that's exactly what MLMs make you do. What they're trying to do is take this one tiny example, this one potential flaw of a traditional restaurant job, and they are extrapolating that one thing into somehow making the connection that working for a restaurant is the same thing as working for an MLM, and it's not.
Or why is nobody talking about the money y'all spend on higher education? I don't even like calling it higher education because that is like that I think is like a little bit classist. But like education.
Yeah, somebody just said $100K to become a nurse. Like
And nobody calls that a scam. Nobody called $2.13 an hour. My bad. I mean, I'm sorry. I was paying you too much. I was trying to pay you a fair wage. All right. Like you go to college, even a community college, you're spending how much a year? You go to a full-time university, nobody even blinks an eye when you're actually celebrated in our society when you graduate from college and you have some of you hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, which I already talked about. You can't, it never gets deferred. Ever. You will die. Okay, and you know what you think? Oh, well, I'll just die with the debt. Okay, so now you've died. Now you're dead, and now your family accrues your debt.
Correct.
Because you thought you were doing the right thing in going and getting formal education.
Right. I know, but like, but then it's, but that's the whole like reason that conversation on my Instagram started a couple days ago, because it was like, oh, well, the difference, because I had a post, it was like CEO, VPs, this, like, it's a pyramid, right? And then somebody
don't like that one. They don't like that one, Colleen.
I heard
that one.
Trigger warning central, and they were like, well, the difference is in our, like, we get benefits and cars and pensions and this, and I was like, hold the phone. You are coming from like privileged town USA or whatever, like thinking that this is how the world works. $2.13 an hour. Like, people like pensions, cars. WTF are you talking about? Like, people, like with nurses, we're talking about how little they get paid. Teachers, people who like actually impact lives, are getting paid nothing and had to pay $100K to get a degree. I saw somebody who was talking about, she didn't want me to say like her actual profession, but she said working in the height of the pandemic, she's in chemistry and creation of things. She was given a wooden bowl as a thank you for working at the height of a bowl. She was like, are you kidding me?
We can go to teachers for a second. Actually, I don't know if it's is it your internet or my internet? I don't know who's.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I heard the wooden bowl comment, and I was giggling, and I'm a little bit stunned over here. The woman was too stunned to speak. Okay, wooden bowl. That threw me. Actually, I was given socks. Natasha says your husband gets a ham every year.
Turkeys.
Yeah, we won't get into that conversation because I'll go straight back into shadow ban. But I hear you, healthy homemakers. I hear you. I see you. I validate you in your conversation there. We won't get into that. But like, none of it makes sense. Like, make it make sense. And pizza parties. Okay, so here's what bothers me. It pisses me off for the nurses, and it pisses me off for the teachers.
So pissed.
Here's why. Teachers, it really pisses me off because I remember specifically a chemistry teacher, speaking of, that I had in high school. And she was like this beautiful, gorgeous woman. And she was bartending every single night and then showing up at school. Because there was not enough money in the school system. She had to pay to put stuff in the classroom. And I was always like, what are you doing?
The thing.
And then I learned that's normal.
That's normal.
I didn't know. That's normal. Like, I learned that in high school when I asked her. She's like, all of us have second jobs. I'm like, all these teachers have second jobs? Yeah, like, we have to. We all wait tables and bartend. I'm like, what? And nurses are the same. So nurses, they work 12-hour shifts, literally saving lives, okay? Like, literally saving lives, 12-hour shifts, losing their jobs if they don't abide by the government law. We'll just throw that out there, okay? Losing their jobs so they can't even save people's lives. And then on the days they have off, because they work usually like 3 12-hour shifts a week, 3 12-hour shifts a week, they're out there waiting tables. They're out there working at the Home Depot. They're out there bartending. They're like, the people that are supposed to be running this society that spend all this money to get
degrees and
to get degrees and everything, like, they got to pay for their own scrubs.
Yeah.
And you don't call that a scam. They have to pay for all this stuff, and we don't even look. They're working 12-hour shifts. Do you know how much money they spend on coffee? I'm not even kidding. Like, your nurses are all on freaking uppers, because not like illegal uppers, okay? They're all on uppers, like tons and tons and tons and tons of caffeine, because they're working 12-hour shifts and being underpaid.
Yeah. And people are mad at us because we're the scam artists.
Again, I hate to say it, but I don't disagree. You may know that I have my master's in elementary education. I paid a lot of money for that degree, and I have yet to use that degree because teachers are paid so poorly that I make more money educating through YouTube videos than I would if I was educating in a classroom. And that is sick. That's messed up. That's not the way that it should be, and teachers deserve more than that. And the same can be said for other professions too. Yes, a lot of people spend a lot of money on a degree that they may or may not use, that may or may not provide them with a job that compensates them well. But this is another example of how the issues with one system or one industry does not negate the issues with multi-level marketing. That is a massive topic, a massive discussion that would take a lot of time to get into. But remember that the vast majority of people in an MLM don't make better money than they could if they were in a professional career. Multi-level marketing is not the way to go. It's not the better path. If you feel like you're not making enough money in your current job, multi-level marketing is not your solution. And of course, college, higher education, professional careers, it's not the path for everybody, and that's perfectly okay. But their primary purpose for bringing that into the conversation here and demonizing college, demonizing professional careers, is because they need you to think that those things are bad so that you sign up for their scam so that they can make money off of you.
Like, these are like some of the most hardworking, amazing heroes, and they're not getting paid enough. And it's like, we're really the scam artists? Please. The stethoscope is $100. Are you freaking kidding me?
You're buying your stethoscope? See, now let me talk to you about a scam really fast. Okay? All right, let me talk to you about a scam. You have to buy your own stethoscope?
Apparently. I'm clearly not a medical professional, so I have no idea.
So it's not okay for a nurse to have to buy their own stethoscope, but it is okay for someone to have to pay $500 to $1,000 to join Prove It. It's okay for someone to have to spend $75 to join Rodan and Fields. Those are considered acceptable investments in your eyes, but it's a scam that a nurse has to buy a stethoscope? Okay, talk about a double standard.
That sounds legit. That's ridiculous.
Sure enough, that's insane.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But I think this conversation has just been like, oh, I'm looking at the comments now. So many nurses are MLMers. Like, licenses for nursing and teaching, so expensive. Like,
you have to pay for that? Hold on! I'm getting educated. I'm about to... I need to go to the ER. I found a new pool to recruit from. Are you kidding me?
Not Jessie Lee Ward out here admitting on a live stream that she now views teachers and nurses as a, quote, new pool to recruit from. How vile. But Jessie Lee, I thought earlier you were trying to convince us that you don't prey on people.
Scrubs, shoes, etc. to prescribe. We pay for a license. Had to buy my own stethoscope.
Your nursing license is $250 a year. So your annual fee, what you're telling me is your annual fee to be a nurse to save lives is $250?
Yeah, they need to pay for their licenses, and we get renewed every 2 years. Oh, people are like they're talking to us now. Insurance agent license costs, licensing insurance. Yeah, so like what the actual?
They clearly know nothing about professional licenses and why they exist. Renewing your license in a professional career is a very standard thing, and it serves a lot of other purposes other than just pay us money to keep your job. That's not what it is. I know that for teachers and for nurses specifically, there are certain standards and certain things and certain requirements you have to fulfill to keep your license. The requirements are usually called contact hours, which refers to the time that you spend continuing your education in some way, whether that's through like classes or whatnot. In my opinion, that is a very good thing that people are required in their professional career field to be up to date on relevant practices. Teaching practices evolve every single year. The field of medicine evolves every single year. In most cases, you do not have to renew your license every year. I think mine is good for 10 years. In the field of medicine, it's usually every 2 years. And renewing a license, in my opinion, is a very good thing for people in these career paths to do, to be continuing their education and continuing their professional development, especially in these high stakes careers like teaching and nursing. Let's say we have a teacher who has been teaching for 30 years. They started teaching in 1992 and they have not had to do any professional development. They have not had to renew any license, and they have never been required to be up to date on the current pedagogy. Would you want your child to be taught by someone who is teaching the same way today as they were in 1992? Similarly, what if your healthcare professional hasn't been required to be up to date on the current medical practices or up to date on the current literature for the past 3 decades? Would you want your healthcare professional to be treating you today the same way they were treating patients in 1992? That's why license renewals exist. You cannot convince me that a teacher or a nurse renewing their license every so often is a scam. Absolutely not. It is for the betterment of their skills, and it's for the betterment of the populations they serve. You cannot be comparing that to a $50 annual fee to remain in a ketone pyramid scheme.
Like we talk about and I'm like, this is not, nobody is shitting on any profession.
No.
And we're talking about how we think that's normal and okay. But there's also another option over here that's like not normal. It's outside the box, and people are like, meh, meh, meh. Scam alert. Really? Oh, we have to pay for CPR training. No, it's nursing and education hours. Nursing license is $600 a year. What?
Yeah, see, I didn't know that. So all of this boils down to the same thing, though, because if we go through their argument list, it's a couple of things. All right. One of the very first things I hear all the time is it's only the 1%. We already went through that. Okay. That's not an accurate statement because we don't know what success is. The other thing side of that, though, I will tell you is there's a 1% of literally everything. So if you're going to have a hard time getting along with the people that are the 1% in real estate, 1% in the world, 1% in whatever, you're just going to have an issue with everything. Okay. That's the first thing. Second thing I hear is about it preying on women. We've already debunked that as well. Okay. So all the rumors are untrue. Okay. So if I was Lizzo, that's what I would say today. Actually, we can do that. You guys can put common things in the chat, because I don't want to forget any of these. You can drop some of the common things that you hear that you want us to kind of go over. The fees, I hear that you're paying to do whatever. We've went through that. Claire, I had no idea it was $600 a year for some of these licenses to be a nurse. That's actual insanity. I'm not that great at math, so 600 divided by, I'm not even gonna try. No. That's a lot. Let's see. I don't even see.
I don't either. Yeah.
Anyway.
They are really so proud of themselves. Like, they really just did something and they really did debunk things successfully. But we're 45 minutes into this call and I have yet to hear anything profound.
I'm trying to think of like excuses I hear all the time, but I mean,
I think we've debunked a lot. I think we've hit on some things and just shed light on the fact that like nobody is preying on anybody. Nobody's a victim of anything.
Oh wait, I want to hit on that really fast.
What?
You guys, if you...
What?
Everything in your life, I love y'all enough to tell you this. Everything in your life is a direct reflection of how you are living your life.
Oh,
and I know you don't want to hear that, and I know it upsets you, but your life looks the way your life looks because of choices you decided to make. So you cannot get mad at anybody for doing anything. Like, if somebody said, hey, there's a sale on a product, and you decided to take your credit card and run a credit card for an amount of income that you knew you shouldn't have been doing, you need to take responsibility for that. Okay? If you have spent an egregious amount of money on whatever, you have to understand you literally made that choice. Nobody, and I hate the, oh no, see, they pressure you because you're vulnerable, you're a victim. What are you talking about?
It would not be an MLM Boss Babe rant live stream if they didn't throw in some victim blaming right at the last second.
Because you're pushing people back into this victim mentality that they don't need to be in to begin with.
Yes.
They need to be, and people just need to, no one needs to live in the victim mentality, and you want them to. Yeah. You feed off of this. Okay, It doesn't make any sense to me. And so take responsibility for your actions. If you were wildly successful in network marketing, like some people claim to be, I will promise you, you would have never left anyway. And not because of the money, but because of the person you would have actually developed into being. That's the honest to God truth.
People can be wildly successful in an MLM and they can still choose to leave because they wake up to the fact that they're in a cult and they're done scamming people.
I've never met anybody who is successful at anything that sits around and talks consistently about people. And I've never met anybody who is successful who lives off of hate videos, whether it's hating a profession, whether it's hating a person, whether it's hating a thing, a place, a whatever.
All of the
never. So when these people make the videos or they talk terrible about the profession or they say these are vulnerable people, they go after this, they go after that, you have to understand the responsibility and the accountability of what you have chosen to do with your life. I've made a choice, just like Colleen's made a choice, to be successful. Just like a lot of people in this profession have chosen to be successful. There is a whole lot of money in the network marketing space, a whole lot of people making supplemental income, part-time income, full-time income, and absolutely life-changing income. And I will tell you, just because it's not for you does not mean that it's not for everybody. Just like your jobs that some of you have are not for me. I'm a terrible employee. I absolutely deserve to be fired from the pathology lab when I was fired. I am not good at working for other people. I am great at working for myself. I am great at holding myself accountable for stuff. Okay? But the fact of the matter is the network marketing profession has unbelievable products, incredible services, and it provides an opportunity for the average person to have an unbelievably above average life.
That's exactly right. This is an opportunity for people to have an above average life, but it's not likely. There is an opportunity for me to have the winning lotto ticket, but it's not likely. And that's what this comes down to. It's just an opportunity. It's not a job. It's not a career. It is an opportunity that you can pay to participate in. And if the odds are in your favor, maybe you won't lose any money.
Unbelievable. I mean, I look at my life and how it has transformed, and I look more importantly at the people. I don't know why I'm not in front of my wall like I usually am, but I look at the people whose lives have shifted because I've had the opportunity to mentor them and coach them.
Mm-hmm.
And that is priceless.
Yep.
And just because you made the choice to quit, I'm not going to make a video about you.
I got stuff to do.
I mean, why? You moved on. Like, I am happy for you if you're happy. The fascinating thing is your level of unhappiness is spewing everywhere. And I know I had a conversation with you in the DM earlier. It's like, I just don't think you understand how the internet works, because the level in which the hate videos are made about me is a bit alarming. Like, it is very loud in the space right now. And I was like, well, I know my numbers are up in my business because, I mean, I can see how many people I'm recruiting. I can see how much I'm selling, and I can see our team's volume. So I see what's happening in my business. But I will tell you, I did not realize the popularity shift because of how much they can't stop talking about me. Mm-hmm. And so there's a rap song, and I put it in my little post in my story today. And it's like, I don't care what you say about me. Just keep talking.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of me. And the fact of the matter is, the amount of money you can make from monetizing YouTube will be nowhere near the amount of wealth accrued through the network marketing space. So while you think you are out there being Captain Save-A-Ho or whatever, okay, I just want to let you know I've taken it upon myself to turn as many people as humanly possible into 6- and 7-figure annual earners. So thank you for your help. I want to explain how SEO works. I want to explain how keyword search works. I want to explain how often you search stuff. I want to explain that when you hashtag Boss Lee, I wore it today for them.
I know, it's so
when you hashtag Boss Lee, when you type Jessie Lee in for clickbait on your YouTube videos, the next video in line tends to be mine. And they go to my page where I am also monetized. And the problem is when you make hate videos about Colleen, or you make hate videos about me, or you make hate videos about any other network marketers.
I wonder where these hate videos are that she's talking about. This section of the video is honestly so exhausting for me to listen to because it's clear to me that they do not understand the anti-MLM movement whatsoever. And they probably never will, and that's fine. But what is evident is that they are threatened by it. Consider the source, remember the motive. Remember the motive for this call right now. Understand why they are making the points they're making. Understand the manipulation tactics they are employing. It's all because their industry cannot survive if people stop joining. In other words, if people listen too much to the anti-MLM movement, their businesses die. And understandably, that's very threatening to them. So they can sit here all day and run their mouths about how successful they are and how anti-MLM is actually helping them and how they're just like so not threatened and so unbothered. But who are we kidding? People who are genuinely happy and successful and fulfilled in their lives do not spend this much time trying to make sure that everyone knows just how happy and successful they are. People with an anti-MLM argument can have facts, statistics, sources, research, and their best defense is to stomp their feet and throw a fit and be like, well, I'm just so successful and you're just a hater. That's the best they have. That's the best they will ever have. It's kind of at the point now where it's like, you know what? You do your thing, I'll do my thing, because when all is said and done, we all know how this is going to end.
Yeah.
The problem is they splice our videos. So they take everything wildly out of context. And when YouTube shows them my entire training video, people go, that was nothing like what I just watched when it was spliced up and chopped apart and I like that Boss Lee girl.
Yes, I'll take that. Never happened for 400. Who is splicing your videos, Jessie Lee? I'm certainly not doing that here. We're sitting here. We are enduring this entire call. She makes herself look bad all on her own. She does not need creative editing from me.
Correct.
So you keep on doing what you are doing, because I promise you, you are doing a service to Colleen. Her business, I mean, I've watched your business over the last few months. Her business is exploding. And I've watched my business. I've watched my podcast. I know they're making videos out of this. We guys, let me explain it like this. Do you think Colleen and I did not intentionally make sure we let everybody know hours before that this would be happening? Like, we're fully aware. They are our unpaid marketing, public relations, and advertising firm. And so for those of you who are getting bullied right now by them, you have to have that mindset switch. You have to understand that they will make you. They will not break you. It is your choice to look at what they say. I've never watched a video. I've looked at some of their comment sections and I'm like, ooh, child. I've never watched a single minute.
I am not surprised at all if she hasn't watched a single minute. And you know how I know that is she missed the mark on every single argument that she tried to make in this live stream. And if she actually watched an anti-MLM video, if she actually listened to the points we were making, if she actually watched anybody debunk anything she has to say, she would feel incredibly foolish. Also, a second ago, she was making the claim that people splice her videos together to make her look bad. But how can she make that claim if she supposedly never watched them?
No need. But I will promise.
The screenshots are like, oh my God, there's another one. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cute. Another one. That is so funny. Wow. And then my follower count goes up. My influences goes up. Like, account seen goes up. Guys, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all that you do for us.
I hope they don't delete their screen recordings now. Like, I hope they continue with their plan of attack. Because like they're gonna be on the defense at this point. I like it. It's like the count of viewers drops by like a couple people, and then it's too late. Like we already exposed you. But I'm just like, you know what? You have done more of a service to the network marketing profession than you realize. Because I am actually very grateful. I'm really, really grateful for the exposure and for the profession as a whole.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is there's so much good. There is so much good going on. There is so much education going on. There are so many beautiful, beautiful stories of people who are succeeding. And that's just how it works. That's just how it works. And I've never met a hater doing better in any facet of my life. Never. And you will never meet a hater doing better than you.
Never.
You just won't. People don't. How did I hear it the other day?
Yeah.
So this is how people are like punching from the bottom is what I wish I could give credit. Like, like, you look so ridiculous. Like, I don't want to come down there anyway, you little troll. Like, stay in your hole. What are you doing down there? You're not even a cute troll with a little treasure gem in your belly. Like, you're a under the bridge troll. Go away. Like, quit punching from down there. Like, I'm up here doing my thing. Like, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
But anyway, they can't stop you. That's just a fact of the matter, and that just goes to the importance of the omnipresence of your social media platforms. So.
Who's like, if it's one nasty comment from a troll on the internet, it's a nasty comment from your aunt, or you have people dedicating their free time to making videos about you. It really, when it comes down, you're showing up and you're doing things in the right way, and you're furthering the network marketing profession, and that's really what we're here to do. So if you're on, thanks. If you're not, also thanks, because you're helping us out. So yeah.
Trust me, they are.
Well, I know we are busy ladies. Let's get on with our day. I hope you have a good one. Thanks everybody for watching. And I'll talk to you soon, I'm sure.
If you guys don't already follow Colleen, make sure you do. I'll tag her in the video as well, so you don't have to go searching for her or anything. But she's no shame sales game, and I'm so thankful for these positive comments below. If this was useful, let us know in the comments. And if there's anything else you want us to address in the future, because both of us are very, very, very much so advocates for the network marketing profession. And honestly, it's not even just the network marketing profession. It's that I'm an advocate. I can speak for myself personally. I'm an advocate for female entrepreneurship. And I'm an advocate for women not having to depend on anybody, whatever gender your partner is, for anything. And the great equalizer I found is network marketing. You can't tell me how much I'm going to earn because of my race, my gender, my sexuality, anything in between. And as soon as you start to take that kind of control and accountability over your life, your entire life can shift. So I did that 11 years ago, never looked back. Here I am. And Colleen is just charging. And I love her content so much. So like I said, I'll make sure to tag you in the, let's say, show notes. Yeah, tag you in the show notes below. I will tag you in the show notes below. I'm recording a podcast too, so you guys can listen back on there as well. But Colleen, I appreciate your time. I think this was a really important discussion for so many people. And for those of you who are currently getting either attacked or bullied or whatever on the internet, just a great reminder to everybody that, like I said, haters will never be doing better than you. And I promise you, they are not talking about you. They are projecting how they feel about themselves. Hurt people. They will continue to make the videos. They will continue to comment on your stuff. They will continue to do whatever they want to do. And as long as you know what you're doing, you're good.
You're golden. All right. Bye, guys. See ya.
Thanks, Colleen.
Bye.
Well, that was exhausting, wasn't it? I think that it speaks volumes that they ended this video with 5 straight minutes of blowing smoke up each other's butts about how great and successful they are. You don't see anti-MLM people doing that, and you never will. Because it's not about money, it's not about fame, it's not about ego, it's about education, awareness, and facts. But they can't combat facts, and so they go for the low blow of calling us miserable haters, and then they spend an incredible amount of their time hyping themselves up and trying to convince themselves that they are unbothered. And with that, my friends, that's all that I have for you for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and I will see you in my next one real soon.